Thank you for listening to Comics for Fun and Profit. This is Kyle Drew with your sneak peek at next week, episode number 517 for comics. I'm going to stop saying originally releasing because we don't know when anything's releasing. We've got some clues and some insight on when things may be coming back to order here, though, soon.
Yep.
Right, Drew?
Yeah, we got some interesting news coming out of the comics industry. Let's see, we heard some things are still canceling. So we've got the San Diego Comic-Con canceling. That is scheduled for July 23rd, and they've gone ahead and canceled that.
They've gone ahead and said nope.
So I'm guessing that's probably because of all the guests and flights and things that you would have to schedule. That everything's too up in the air.
Yeah.
And California is probably going to be the one of the most stringent states getting back to some sense of normalcy. So I would guess that would probably be factor into one of the reasons. mycomicshop.com has opened back up. I hadn't even realized that they closed, but I guess they closed in March, and they're back up, which is good. They're a big force in the industry.
There you
go. We're hearing that Diamond, that they are looking at mid to late May for comics to resume shipping to stores. There's a long letter that they've released, and I think basically when they open back up in mid to late May, that's when they'll start shipping the April 1st stuff that they have in there.
Yeah, they have the 1st and the 8th stuff ready to roll.
Yeah, so that stuff will be ready then. So I guess that's we'll have to go back and look at our sneak peek at April 1st and maybe just dust it off.
Yeah, just renumber, do a new intro, and then give the same old one.
Give the same one again. Because, yeah, so I guess that's their plan. But DC has a different plan.
Yeah.
So DC is saying that by the end of this month, they've announced 2 new distributors. What's this all about?
They are pursuing alternate distribution methods and will start shipping products for on sale April 27th. Orders through April 15th are canceled, but starting on 4/21, retailers can confirm their order for product shipping on 4/28, which will now be available on Tuesday, 4/27. The biggest bombshell of this, DC will be using 2 new distributors, both Lunar Distributions and UCS Comic Distributors, to distribute weekly periodical comics. Retailers can sign up with either on a regional basis. So we're hearing that Lunar is actually DCBS, and what was the other one?
Midtown.
Yep, the other one is Midtown Comics.
So 2 of the retail community's competitors have been given this advantage. They get to be a distributor for DC. I don't know about that. I can't imagine that would sit well with the retail community.
Yeah, and it hasn't. We've reached out and we've talked to a few people, and we've been told that for the most part, it doesn't sound like a lot of comic shops are going to do this.
So what? So wait a minute. The 1st and the 8th is still sitting in Diamond's warehouse, though, right?
As far as I know, yes.
So first, the global distribution. All orders placed with Diamond for 1, 4/8, and 4/15 have been canceled with Diamond. You will need to resubmit orders for DC's upcoming titles. To that end, instead of lifting and shifting the same scheduled titles for each of the missed in-store dates, they've revised their publishing schedule. The new schedule is designed to allow each of you to begin ordering a limited amount of DC product at first, and then ease back into the number of books that represent a normal release schedule from DC when your business can accommodate that. So the stuff that was going to be out on the 1st is not all going to be available now on the 27th. The week of the 27th.
I wouldn't think so, no.
once you receive that order, then you can release it on Tuesday, 4/28. And then here is the limited slate. The comics that are available are Batman 89, the third printing, big whoop. Batman Giant 4, Daphne Byrne 4, The Dreaming 20, Nightwing 70, the second printing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. And then for May 5th, we got Batman and the Outsiders 12, DC Superstars Facsimile 17, Flash 753, Green Lantern Season 2, number 3, Hawkman 23, House of Whispers 20, Joker Harley Criminal Sanity issue 4, and that's it. That's what's coming out on the 5th. Then on the 12th, we've got Harley Quinn 72, Justice League 44, Justice League Odyssey 20, Lois Lane 10 of 12, and Metal Men 6 of 12. You notice no Batman, no Superman in that. What Batman was it? Batman 92 that was the next one slated to come out, which was the cover, the one that was the cover of Punchline.
I believe so. Yep.
So they might not want to be messing around with that one.
Yeah, and like they're wanting to get these out quickly to shops that aren't really open for the most part still.
And you've got to place this order with Lunar and UCS comic distributors 4/21. So that's their is that their FOC? And how would and have any? So they got to order them blind.
Yeah.
Or will they be sending? Can we expect our retailer to reach out to us and say, hey, do you want any of this junk?
Probably not. The retailer's going to make whatever decision they think's best for them, and then do it according to what they think they either have sold or can sell.
Are these? Do you think these are all going to be resolicited down the road?
Yeah.
Or this is it?
I imagine they will be resolicited or rehandled by Diamond for everybody else.
Did they? I wonder if they called Diamond and said, "Hey, send us everything back."
It doesn't seem that way because those things aren't necessarily offered yet.
Interesting. So that's 3 weeks. That gets you to almost mid-May, and maybe Diamond's back online by then?
Yeah, hopefully.
Yes. We're in Ohio, so we would fall under the UCS comic distributor model, and that's the Midtown people, and Lunar is the DCBS people.
Lunar's out of Fort Wayne, so I would think that would be us.
But okay, well, this article says Lunar is all these states, but not Ohio.
Okay. Gotcha.
Ohio gets lumped into the Midtown distribution, or the
gotcha.
UCS distribution, which is dumb because it's like 4 hours away, right?
Yeah,
from Fort Wayne. That is really dumb. So I'm assuming these will all be available digitally, of course, on the same date. What's man? I don't understand how this is going to work, man.
I don't either. It's just even more convoluted. It's putting retailers in a bad spot, or a spot they're not even necessarily prepared for.
There's going to be very little left. I mean, there's going to be very little ordered. I can't imagine how many copies of this stuff would even be out.
Yeah.
And if there's no way to get this again, you just lose.
Mm-hmm.
These become incredibly rare, right?
Correct. And like it gut shots you run. Let's say you're collecting all of the lowest lanes,
Yeah.
and your LCS chooses not to go this route, and you just have a gut shot hole in your lowest lane 12 issue.
Well, I mean, our retailer didn't know anything any faster than we did.
Mm-mm.
Basically, when this information leaked out in the previous day or so, they're learning about the details and they're like, well, they didn't scramble around, haven't figured out how to do it. And if they want to do it, if they want to take the time to bother, because I mean, you're going to have to try to distribute this stuff curbside and or through the mail, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Or do you just contact your pull listers that had this stuff on there and say, you want us to get this for you and you can pick it up down the road?
You have a 9 o'clock appointment for pickup. You have a 9:10 appointment for pickup.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. It's something.
Yeah.
It's just a very strange system, and I'm not sure I fully understand it.
Yeah, and we've got to get back sometime, but I'd like everybody to get back at the same time.
Yeah. So what advantages does this give DC? This gives DC the ability to be the only game in town.
Mm-hmm.
I will probably read everything that they put out on the 28th, right? Because I don't have anything new coming in.
Absolutely.
So I'll read Bat Giant 4, Daphne Byrne, Dreaming. Those 3 books. Those are the only 3 new books. I'll read all 3. I'll read 100% of the new stuff that they're sticking out on the 28th.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing else out there. So I see that as an advantage. So they really get almost 2, 3, 4 weeks head start on everybody else. So that would be why they would do it, maybe. This could be to test the waters to not be exclusive with Diamond.
Yeah, that's actually what I was reading as well, is they have not necessarily renewed their Diamond contract, so they may be just using this as a water testing feature to either have leverage with Diamond or go away from Diamond for the first time in 20 years.
And why would they do that? An extra 10% they don't have to give away, or I don't know.
Yeah.
What are you going to want to be placing orders with multiple distributors?
No, especially since one of them we weren't happy with the way that they handled books.
Yeah. If we wanted to be a DCBS customers, we still would be, right?
Yeah, correct.
Well, I mean, I guess we wouldn't be. That would be for retailers. So the retailer would have to deal with DCBS or Midtown, not us.
Well, if we want DC books, they at some point have to come through that.
Right, but we don't. But not from them to us. They go to the retailer, and then we deal with the retailer to get them to us.
Yeah, but we may just look. There'd be probably a less good quality in my mind of some of these books.
Yeah. So Wisconsin is part of the Lunar deal, and so that would be DCBS supplying Cowabunga, which is our LCS.
Yep.
So they would have to deal with DCBS to get us our DC books, if they choose to do that for us. And I really am not going to hold it against Cowabunga. If they choose not to play in this game for 3 or 4 weeks,
If they choose not to be a pawn in DC's little scheme,
I guess we'll just sit out. Or
and that's why I was curious. I mean, is this kind of like is DC being scabs, or any of the people that do this with DC scabs for like going against the industry and kind of going around what's for the most part considered safety measures for everybody involved?
Yeah, it's like DC's not happy with Diamond's decision to shut down.
Yeah.
So they're like, we think that's ridiculous, and we're going to go around you, and here's how we're going to do it. Which doesn't make any sense to me because, yeah, unless part of the reasoning is, hey, we're not happy with Diamond anyway, and we know a lot of people that aren't. We know a lot of retailers that aren't happy with Diamond.
Correct.
So we're going to take this opportunity to try something. We have a free opportunity without breaking any contracts that we can try this and see what happens. Work out the.
And if those 4 weeks don't work, you just pretend like it never happened and start again with Diamond.
Oh yeah, Diamond. What are you talking about? Yeah, we're good. You're still my girlfriend.
That's right.
I didn't step out on you.
Yeah, it's interesting. I cannot wait to see what happens.
Or doesn't happen.
Or doesn't happen.
I'm so curious as to who's going to play along and who's not, and how will we find out?
Yeah,
I guess.
Will there be numbers on how many retailers are doing this thing, or can we trust the numbers if DC comes back in 2 weeks and be like, "This is working great"?
Yeah.
Why would we ever go back?
So that's DC. So if we go back to the Diamond letter, it says our intent is to restart the weekly FOC process once we have worked with publishers on a new schedule for product releases. So product that was originally scheduled for release on the 1st and the 8th will be distributed over a longer period, allowing publishers to work with printers to deliver new product without further interruption. Retailers will be able to adjust the order quantities for those products, making sure that they are receiving quantities that make sense for the current situation in their stores. Let's take DC out of that. While we look forward to the resumption of weekly new product, we know that many retailers continue to take advantage of restocks of backlist product. We encourage retailers to ensure that their comic shop listings are up to date, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so let's take DC out. So now our FOCs that we've already placed, I guess the DCs we got to pull out of there, right?
Yeah.
So those DCs that we put on the FOC adding to our order are no good. They're null and void, I would think. But are the rest of our FOC ads good to go?
Wow.
Or do we have to wait for confirmation that those things are still coming out at the same time?
Yeah, or are they going to skip the FOC process for a few weeks?
It says our intent is to restart the weekly FOC process once we have worked with publishers on a new schedule for product releases. And then it says product that was originally scheduled for release on the 1st and the 8th will be distributed over a longer period. So the stuff that they have, they're going to use to distribute comics over 3-4 weeks to get through. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Does it? I don't know.
So, have your phone on charged up and ready. You may be getting a call from your LCS that you got some DC books. Or you may not. But
yeah,
don't
if you're a
fret
DC fan,
things may come back soon.
Yeah, if you're a DC fan and you don't want to miss out on those items that we mentioned, get in touch with them, see if they're participating, how they're participating, and get your foot in the door there.
So and if you're jonesing for new content, regardless, we have a schedule for digital releases for the next few weeks.
Yes. So yeah, you'll definitely probably get this DC stuff as digital down the road. So this is just for your print comic people. Mm-hmm. That's the challenge. Oh my goodness.
We've cleared up nothing.
Yeah, we don't really have a lot of. I guess we have more questions than answers, but it is something.
Yeah,
we have some movement and some at least attempts to return to normalcy, so that's kind of interesting. But people continue to read comics, and option comics for movies and TV, and Philadelphia is the latest movie or comic to be optioned, and this is optioned by Levantine Films. It's of course a horror series, a vampire horror series, and we'll see if this ever, makes it to.
Or if we add it to the list of optioned items and never did anything.
How many Image titles have been optioned for TV, and this is another one that's may or may not ever see the light of day. But
Yeah, it seems like the light of day rate is 10%.
yeah, if you got it, keep your eye on eBay, see if it spikes. It might be something that you can quick flip, or if you still have access to an LCS and they haven't heard the news yet, maybe scoop up that first issue. Should still be floating around somewhere.
There you go.
The good folks over at Cover Price have listed their top 10 for the 412 last Friday. Not quite last Friday. When is that? 412 is 5 days ago.
Correct.
That's a weird day. I guess they're behind. So topping the list is Year of the Villain, Hell Arisen, number 3.
No surprise.
No surprise. 32 copies sold, an average of $36 a piece. Spawned back into the top 10 with the Spawn number 1, which is sold 32 copies for about $14 a piece. A Mega Man 3 is on the list with 23 copies sold, an average of almost $50. Lobo, yeah, first Lobo. Nightwing 70, the last spec book before the end of the world. This sold 26 copies for an average of about $10 a piece.
For no real reason.
X-Men 4, first appearance of Omega Red, 25 copies for an average of about $16. That's I don't know why we care about Omega Red. Remind me why we care about Omega Red.
Is that Black Widow?
Oh, okay. Venom Lethal Protector number 1. Venom's first solo book, still doing well. 14 copies sold, about $12 a piece. Appearance by Amazing Spider-Man 300. We know that's the first appearance of Venom. This is a key you should always keep. Never sell it. But 17 copies sold for an average of $185.
By the way, Omega Red is rumored to be in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Uncanny X-Men 266 is Gambit's first appearance. Remember that it will end up as a Disney Plus show. Move 15 copies at about $85 a piece. So Gambit's first appearance, that's a pretty good solid key right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Still pick up. Batman 89, the last new spec character of 2020 before the shutdown, is Punchline. 20 copies of this sold, and it's sold for $30 a piece, $31 a piece. And then rounding out the top 10, we've got Star Wars Kanan, number 1. Yeah, Sabine Wren, 12 copies sold for an average of $8. And did you end up finding out how many of those you had?
At least 3.
Fantastic. As we slide on over, before we slide on over to our highlights of April that we may or may not be seeing in May even. But these are highlights that were scheduled to ship in April that we're highlighting. And only thing we have left are Dynamite, Boom, and then the back half stuff. So we'll finish that up today. Before we do that, I have I talked to you a little bit last week about my Kingpin number 1 that was signed with the certificate of authenticity. It sold for almost $20. I was excited about that, and then I found out it was a Canadian buyer, and eBay would not let me ship it through the global shipping program. So that buyer was not happy. They thought I was playing games with them, I wouldn't ship it to him because I didn't get the price I wanted. That is not the case. It was that I could not ship that to them. So I have relisted it and unchecked the global shipping box this time. So, Hero Initiative, you will eventually get some money from this sale. It just didn't happen this time. So, if you're in the market for a Matt Rosenberg signed Kingpin #1, it's out there again on my page on eBay. Damn it, eBay! And they did. I reached out to them and I said, if you're going to discontinue,
Allowing
being able to ship through the global shipping, well, you should just automatically just take it off. And they sent me instructions for how to uncheck the box. Yeah. I was like, yeah, thank you so much. Super helpful. All right, now let's shoot over to Previews World.
Yep, let's find our link, and we're down in Diamond, where we're looking at February solicited items that hypothetically would already be out but aren't.
Yes, and we're hoping we might be getting FOCs on these again, if quite possible. You guys might get sick of talking about these comics.
Yeah, and we're gonna start in Dynamite, and we're gonna start with The Boys, Dear Becky #1. Of course, with the success of The Boys TV show, they're doing another offshoot of The Boys series with Dear Becky #1. 12 years after the events of The Boys.
That's really nice. It's cool that that's back. We have Red Sonja 15 continuing to be very successful for Mark Russell.
And a nice little Jai Lee cover on the cover right there. We have Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys, The Death of Nancy Drew #1. I don't know if it did Nancy Drew is worth money, but if it is, there's the way to do it. Vampirellas and Sonias and Sonias and Vampirellas.
Lots of Vampirella. Yeah, that's about it for me, though.
Yeah, I got
that's another new Nancy Drew. Is that what you were saying?
Yes.
Gotcha. So if we shoot over to Boom, then we get into a new Faithless by Brian Azzarello and Maria Lovett. I can't remember how the last one ended. It's just a filthy comic. Lots of naughtiness going on in there. So I'm sure that's more of the same. You a Buffy guy? Were you part of the Whedon?
I was not part of the Buffyverse, no.
But then you enjoyed Firefly Law, right?
Absolutely, correct.
So was that after? So Buffy died,
yes.
And then Firefly came out? Is that what happened?
Buffy, then Firefly.
So I don't know if I'm not a Buffy guy either. So I don't know if this is just a little variation on the theme, probably something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Buffy Every Generation.
Once and Future #8 by Karen Gillan, Dan Morrow on the art. When a strange newcomer arrives at the dark court of Camelot, his presence disrupts the outer world.
Nice, and not a variant cover at all.
Just one to get.
Something is Killing Children #7. It's been good, still solid. Wicked Things, I'm trying to remember what that one was. Month Attack of Legendary Detective Kendo. I guess I didn't read that first one. I must have missed that one somehow. Thought I read it. It is John Allison. I kind of like him. But I guess I missed out on that. But that is all I had for Boom.
Alright, and now we're going to attempt to dig through some of the back half. These all being grouped in one big thing is a bit crazy, so bear with us.
Yeah, well, I mean, it always is. I guess, but not as... But it's a week.
Publisher, kind of, or whatnot.
Well, it's by week instead of month, so this is a whole month's worth of stuff.
Of course, Life is Strange, Partners in Time #1, a new Titan comic version of the Life is Strange series. I like the Firewalk emblem.
We've got Sumerian Nails, Red Nails #1. This is a Blaze Comics. It's kind of a Conan riff-off. Is that what it is? It's a Conan. I don't know how that works. How do they get to do Conan too?
He's public domain, isn't he? Just similar to Thor.
I don't think so.
No.
But I don't. But I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know 100%. Aftershock has one called Disaster Inc. This is written by Joe Harris, Sebastian Perez, and Andy Clark. In 2011, the worst earthquake in Japan's history breached the coastal Fukushima Daiichi power plant, causing 3 of its 4 nuclear reactors to melt down. Aftershock's usually pretty good at these, so...
Did you talk about Dead Day number 1?
I did not.
Dead Day number 1 by Ryan Perrault. With art by Yevgeny Boryankov and an Andy Clark cover. If the dead could come back just one night, would you want them to? Meet the Haskins, a seemingly normal suburban family, as they prepare for the annual macabre holiday known as Dead Day, when the deceased rise from the graves from sunset to sunrise. Some come back to reunite with family and friends, others for one last night of debauchery, still others with only one thing on their decomposing minds, and that's revenge.
Nice.
So
Are you flipping through your print catalog? Or are you looking at the same thing I am?
I'm looking at the digital.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting.
Was that one not there?
It's not in the same order, but that's okay.
Gotcha.
We don't care about no stinking order.
That's right.
You said you didn't say anything about 100 Wolves, did you? Vault Comics, Mike Cole. The 100 Wolves are bloody-handed terrors of the steppe. Andre and Oksana have left the Cossack band to raise their daughter on a farm they hold from the noble Count Astasia. But the raiding life isn't done with them. And got a little Rogue Planet happening. This is Oni Press. Colin Bunn doing the writing and Andy McDonald on art. Savage vessel Cortez tracks the lonely orphan, a planet with no star system to call its own. Somewhere on this hostile rock is a payload fit for a king. To attain it, the crew of the Cortez must brave razor rock, poisonous vapors, treacherous footing, and the most mind-numbing horrors imaginable. Now, Ash and Thorn, I think, has made it out. It's an Ahoy book. I think I read this one. It says April 29th. I must have got. Oh, it's out digitally early. That's right. And it was pretty good. The apocalypse is nigh. The world needs a champion, and the only heir to a sacred mystical lineage is a little old lady. And it was pretty fun. I liked it.
Billionaire Island number 2 from Ahoy Comics out as well.
And I really liked that first issue. It was great.
Yeah. Very neat cover on the second issue as well.
What's that Final Witness? Well, it's Valiant. Ray Fox. Jeremy Hahn doing the art, though. We like him.
Absolutely.
Another Sabrina reboot. Source Point Press is putting out something called Skylin. Not Skyrim, but Skylin. Fred Packard, Josh Valaire, and Adam Cozart. Creative team beyond that. About Princess Carly being the only noble proper age from her nation. She's a serpent rider. Not a serpent rider, a serpent rider.
Serpent.
Serpent. I don't know what that means, unless it's a typo. 0 Day Threat #1 is a Red 5 comic by James Gillart and Tony Donnelly. The 21st Century Arm Race is a digital one. Instead of stealth bombers, governments are developing stealth malware for political and economic gain. Newman, a secret government agency co-founded by the FBI, CIA, and NSA, protects the United States from these next generation threats. That looks pretty good, actually.
Yeah. The 4th and final issue of Kids with a Z from Ablaze Comics. I like the look of the first few of these, so I ordered this whole series of 4. There are 4 options for covers, A, B, C, and D. For this one, there is a Stranger Things homage for A, and a really dope Jaws homage for C.
Very cool. Oh yeah, Arc World #1 from Devil's Due. We don't hear a lot from Devil's Due. Not since the Squarrior days, anyway. Josh Blaylock, Travis Heimel, and Daniel Leister launching an all-new archaeopunk genre. When a discovery turns our understanding of history upside down, we meet a couple who abruptly find themselves swept up in a deep state conspiracy that threatens their world. Interesting.
We have North Bend #2 from Scout Comics. You talk about that one?
No.
North Bend #1, of course, being a C4 Fat bundle item.
Oh, wow. I had forgotten.
How dare you?
How dare you, sir?
Rick and Morty Go to Hell from Oni Press. Looks like a good one. Another one-off that they're doing there on those.
Deep Blue #1 is from Mythos Comics. Dobbs is the lone human survivor of an artificial intelligence apocalypse. Tortured and interrogated by mechs who believe he is their creator, his only desire is to be freed from his torment, until he makes a shocking discovery that changes everything. Mythos Comics. Don't hear those much. What's the deal with Doctor Sleepless? Like, are they really launching the whole series? Or is this an old... This is an old Avatar book. Avatar needs to decide if they're going to be a real publisher or just regurgitate stuff they find in their warehouse. Man, there was a time when I loved everything Avatar was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what happened? I think we had some great stuff there for a while.
Did you talk about Year Zero?
0 Day Threat?
No.
Okay.
From Artists, Writers, and Artisans Incorporated. This is an Upshot comic. Year Zero #1, written by Ben Percy and Ramon Rosanos on art. Ben Percy, which we know from Wolverine, and Ramon Rosanos, which we know from Star Wars Age of Resistance, team up to present an epic tale that offers a global look at the zombie apocalypse. A Japanese hitman, a Mexican street urchin, an Afghan military aide, a polar research scientist, a Midwest American survivalist. 5 survivors of a horrific global epidemic who must draw upon their unique skills and deepest instincts to navigate the world of shambling dead. Year Zero wrestles with the weighty morals and theological questions posed by the pandemic and investigates its cause and possible cure. That's speaking my language right there. And the cover is a nice, awesome landscape with beautiful water and a lot of trees and mountains in the background, and then a dope RV says zombie killer, and it's been decked out for the apocalypse. So
Nice.
Year Zero #1 of a 5-issue miniseries.
We've got Everglade Angels from Scout Comics. Blake Northcutt and Scott Lobdell doing the art, or doing the writing.
Lobdell, there you go.
And the cover and art is by Rock Upchurch. He went back to rock for this.
What's the name of that one?
It's called Everglade Angels. So Scott Lobdell doing the writing and Rock Upchurch doing the art. It's a wrong turn down a dead-end road, a car that won't start, an unspeakable evil emerges from the darkness. No phones, no weapons, no escape. Think you've seen this before? Think again. When a girls' softball team takes a shortcut through the Florida Everglades, they veer off the path towards a night they'll never forget. Drinking, dancing, one last hurrah before college starts, and they go their separate ways. When they stumble into a trap set by a murderous cult, the stage is set for a night of blood-soaked carnage, but the cult has never dealt with victims who are ready to fight back.
There you go.
That looks really good.
And that is a nice-looking Rob Upchurch cover. I love Lobdell, and I love Upchurch, so you can't beat that.
It might be good.
Yeah.
That's Scout. Yeah, people are excited about this. You can tell by the number of shares from the Previews World site. That about do it, or do we got more?
No, I hit the end on mine.
Lots of cool stuff. Lots of cool stuff. What do you got, Kyle? Should I go first, or you gotta go first?
I got two things written down, so it's
Man, I
up
do
to you, my
too.
friend.
Man, I got a lot written down too.
I'm gonna go with Year Zero, number one. I
Okay.
really like the cover of it, the striking, and it just seems like something you'd option because it very much is written like the actual World War Z novel was written, not the
Oh.
movie, but the novel
Okay.
where it does take different things and different people and then converts them into one storyline based on that. So I will go with that.
What's the title again?
Year Zero, number one.
Year Zero. Year Zero. There it is. And it's got. So you're gonna go with cover A, I'm guessing.
Since it's the only option, you got it.
No, there's a cover B, Diodata,
Oh, okay. I'm going with cover A.
and I'm gonna go with Everglade Angels from Scout. Little bit of recency bias, but it was the best pitch that I saw, and it does have my boy Johnny Rock Upchurch. I wish pick a name, but but yeah, that's that Year Zero. I remember that. I recognize that cover. That does look great.
Yeah.
So yeah, Everglade Angels number one, and Year Zero number one. We will pick for books that might never ever come out.
That's right. And again, we're just trying to get you guys all prepared for when things finally do get back to normal. We don't know if they're going to release multiple weeks at the same given time. We just want you guys to be prepared for when comics finally come back
Yeah.
out. That there still may be some spec worthy and some good stuff, and we don't want everything to get lost in the shuffle. So we're going to take it upon ourselves to dig through some of the what wills and the might have beens, and make sure you don't miss little things from maybe some smaller publishers or some different things that we may not remember from 2 months ago when the world was still turning the way we thought it would. So,
And Year Zero
okay.
is an April 1st release, so it might be on an FOC episode in the future. You might hear about it again. It's quite possible.
Absolutely, absolutely. But tell us how you guys are doing during all of the stay at home and the comics. Are you really reading tons of back issues? Have you moved on from comics for the time being? Are you being comfort from some of your older titles? Let us know. Be it Twitters, Facebooks, Instagrams, Gmail, or whatnot. Let us know how you're doing and what your plans are for. If you're intrigued by any of this new DC releasing schedule or what we're going to do with Diamond when it comes back, let us know what you think. Be part of the podcast right and to us. We would love to hear from you. But thank you so much. And for Drew and for myself, see ya.